Today we're going to look at these new angled electricians shears from Knipex.
Or something we like to call scissors from Knipex. Okay, we've got that one out of the way. We can now call them Knipex throughout the video.
We can now. You've got the original ones there.
I have, yes.
Which, to be fair, we didn't use a lot, did we?
No, we didn't, but since we've had the new ones, we've discovered almost 100 different ways of using a pair of scissors.
We have, and let me show you something that'll change your mind how you think of scissors. So I've got here a 70mm squared tri-rated cable, so it's class 6 conductors. There's hundreds of little strands in there, but watch this.
Wow.
Like butter.
Wow.
Nice neat end on there.
Incredible.
There you go. Now, if there's one reason you should buy, obviously not many people cut that this sort of cross-section of cable very often, but at the other end of the scale, fantastic for LED strip.
Okay, something I like to call lead tape, all right?
Yeah,
Do you
that's
like
right.
that one?
No, that's
Yeah,
good.
That's all good.
And yeah, I mean, what would I normally use for these in the past? You'd probably use that. We used to use the super nips, which are good.
Yeah, fantastic.
But these, the precision you can get on these to get a nice straight cut exactly on the cut point is fantastic.
Okay.
And so that's using the front blade there.
Okay, yeah, okay, I like that, yeah.
And if we carry on from that, obviously another very tape-like thing, labels.
Okay, how many times have we taken a pair of side cutters and cut them maybe twice in order to make that cut? Because we haven't got a pair of scissors in our toolkit. Yeah, we've done that ourselves here at Lanyard Studios, haven't we?
And what else can you use scissors for, Gary?
Well, actually, when those online retailers drop off those boxes, maybe with next day delivery, it's ideal for getting into those. And we've all used our car keys before, maybe a screwdriver, or if you want to say what you use to open cardboard boxes, if you haven't got a set of these Knipex scissors.
Yeah, and that's so that's obviously using them as normal scissors, fantastic. But when it comes to actually cutting different types of wire and cable, we've got just about everything we could find in the workshop. Where do you want to start with, Gary?
Well, I'd like to start maybe with the hidden tool in there. Okay, so let's think about the RCBOs. We know those fly leads are really long, but you know, often tools come with a built-in torch, don't they?
Yes.
Okay, and we love it, and we say it's a drill and also a torch.
Yeah.
But we pick up a pair of scissors, and it's also a pair of scissors. It can't have another hidden tool in there, but it has, hasn't it?
It has.
And we discovered that when we shortened the lead on this RCBO, which are always too long, which is good, because there's a ferrule on the end of here. So we cut it with a pair of scissors. Do you agree? We
did.
But how did we ferrule it?
Well, ferruled it actually using the secret tool that's hidden in the handle here, and there's two sizes. There's one goes up to 6mm squared, and there's one goes up to 25mm squared.
Wow.
Which is pretty ambitious, but we did that, and it doesn't pull off. It's pretty good.
No, it's solidly held on there. No chance of yanking that off, and that's a surprise within the tool, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the mystery tool hidden within the handle. And along with this nice little clip there, keep it closed.
Yeah, okay, so it locks into position, and it's also ergonomically friendly, and they've designed it so it's a little more comfortable. And I'm not suggesting all scissors are the same. My mum used to work with scissors a lot. She was in the boot and shoe industry.
Right.
So when she used to a thumb there. You used to have a red mark on her thumb, constantly opening and closing a pair of scissors, where I think you'll find with those, they're a little bit more friendly on the hand.
Yeah, these are very tactile. No, they're not insulated scissors, so they're not most, obviously if you look at Knipex tools, if it's got the yellow and the red, they tend to be VDE approved. These aren't. These are just normal ones, and I can understand why, because your finger's right next to the metal bit there that would just slip along it. So don't use them on live cables.
And talking of slipping, it might fall from your hand. Is there anything to help you from losing those scissors off a scaffold?
There is a little point for a lanyard, or as Knipex call it. What do they call it?
Tethered tool system, they call it, Gordon.
So they have a special bungee for people who drop the tools.
I like the way you look in that box. The whole back of it is in German, isn't it?
And while I'm on there, I might as well get the part number out of the way. It's the 950520 SB.
Okay, so that's great. So we've done the ferruling, so we've hidden the secret tool within there, but let's see what else it can do. Now, we've got some braided flex here. We've used this many times around Lanyard Studios. We like it because it's also eFIXX red.
Yeah.
What's the problem with it when we start terminating the ends?
Yeah, it's the fabric. You just need to give it a little haircut every now and again just to get it nice and neat. And cutting that with, if you try it with side cutters, you just never make a neat job of it. But with these, you can give it a nice little haircut.
You can, and that leads me nicely into data cables. Now, we've had some experiences with working with data cables. We don't always get it exactly right, and data cable people will always jump in and give us their feedback. But the one thing we have found is, obviously, when we start stripping that string, really handy is to give that string a little pull, but getting rid of it can be tricky, can't it?
Yeah, and again, effortless through that, and again, with the little plastic separator in the middle, you can quickly lock that out and even cut the conductors themselves.
Yeah. So that for me is at the toe. I've done it a number of times with a pair of side cutters. It seems to never cut the string, does it? Trying to cut, and scissors, woof, it's off.
Yeah, so we've done flexible cables, both obviously the little copper strands when you need to give them a little haircut as well, or actually cutting the full conductors themselves, or indeed the full cable.
Yeah, it's quite satisfying as well, isn't it, when you cut through that flex with a pair of scissors. It's a different sensation than using side cutters, and one that I really like.
Yeah, and another one. So I was out in Tenerife recently with Mark Fradley.
Was that on the company account?
It was, yes, the electrician to the rich and famous out there. And Tenerife is the land of flexible conduit, and everyone has multiple sets of electricians shears or scissors in their tool bag because it's fantastic at cutting flexible conduit.
Okay, yeah, and then once you've cut it, obviously you occasionally just want to trim that end off, don't you, just to make that a smarter end, and again scissors are in there trimming that end off.
Yeah, and then keeping the trimming, back to ferrules again. So again, got our massive conductor there.
Did it do that with the scissors?
Well, sometimes sometimes tricky, especially when if you're doing it and you've sort of bent the cable around a radius, you can't quite get the ends straight. So you just again need to give the old ferrule a little bit of a haircut when you finish.
What size is that?
So again, that's 70mm squared. So that's a pretty big haircut.
The Knipex shears also come in handy when we were posing as if we were the cast from Star Trek, when we forgot to mention initially to Rick that his label was still hanging out the back of his shirt. Well, we went in, we nearly took off his gold chain with the price of commodities at the minute, and then we attacked the label with a pair of scissors. But when we were looking really closely, we didn't just have enough time to trim out those grey hairs.
So one thing we don't think you should use it for, obviously all of the cables we've used here are all flexible, class 5 or class 6 or thin data cable. We did try it on some class 2 conductors, so you have some 10mm earth wire.
Okay.
And it
does do it.
It does do it, but I could imagine if you're doing it all the time, you'd feel it on your wrist. It's probably not the tool for that.
Might shorten the life of the tool as well, mind you. I don't think it's going to do it any favours over the long term. I imagine now and again someone's always going to grab the wrong tool and use it in the wrong position. Something else that you're going to remember on the side of the box?
No, I think we've done all that, yeah. So that's, as you say, we've got the crimps, we've got the handles, stainless steel blades. It's, weight. What do we think weight-wise? Weight is 135 grams there, Gary.
Okay, so in other words, it's light, ergonomically friendly. It's got a clip, and you can also use the tethering system in case you drop it. However, during the process, we were obviously stripping using the Ergostrip, which is in front of me here. And if you want to see how we did that and used it in a review, check out the video on screen just there.